Hi, boys and girls. It's Teacher Janelle. I have an Easter basket next to me, and I have a special friend that's hanging out in my Easter basket. It's one of our school chickens. I wanted to update you on how this chicken has grown over the past week. I'm going to put he or she right here, because we don't know yet if it's a boy or a girl, and let you take a peek. As you can see, it's getting fatter and it's growing a lot of feathers, which is going to help keep the chicken warm. Its comb above its head is coming in, and it's learning how to roost. We actually had to get a bigger cage because the 3 chickens were getting so big. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this little one, and I'm going to move it down here for just a few minutes while I lead you in a special activity. Today I want to talk to you about shadows. And if you look around my room, does anybody see any shadows on the wall? Right behind me, there's a shadow of a bunny. On Easter, my family and I put a whole bunch of things inside on the window of our house, and sometimes during the day, depending on when the light is coming in, there may be shadows on the wall, and you might notice shadows in your house. Shadows can be made when there's sun coming through the window, but shadows can also be made with the moon or any other kind of light that comes through a window. I have an activity I want to show you. You're going to need a piece of white paper, just like this, and a piece of tape. If you see a shadow on a wall that you want to draw, you can take a piece of white paper and you can put it directly on top of the shadow that you want to draw. My white paper is on top of that bunny. You can then take a marker or a crayon or any other kind of writing device, and you can trace the shadow. It's important, though, that you stay on the paper because it's not okay to draw on the walls. Your shadow might not look exactly like the shadow, but like I'm doing, I'm just drawing and tracing what I see. Once you've traced the shadow you wanted to trace, you can take the paper off the wall and you can color it in. I'm not going to color mine completely today, but I might add a face. If you were looking at our chicken, do you remember how many eyes our chicken had? If you said 2, you were right. Chickens have 2 eyes, just like we have 2 eyes. Does anybody remember the nose of the chicken? It actually was its beak. I'm going to put a nose on my bunny, just like that. If you trace any shadows inside your house, go ahead and take a picture of it and show it to me on our class Padlet, or send it to me in an email. You can also find shadows outside as well. If you put something outside on the sidewalk and you have some sidewalk chalk, you may be able to trace a shadow as the sun hits it. All this talk about shadows reminded me of a book called How to Catch a Star. This book is by Oliver Jeffers, and it's about a little boy that tries to catch a star. Once there was a little boy, and the boy loved stars very much. Every night, the boy watched the stars from his window and wished he had one of his very own. He dreamed of how the star would be his friend. They would play hide and go seek and take long walks together. The boy decided he would try to catch one. He thought that getting up early in the morning would be best, because then the star would be tired from being up in the sky all night. The next day, he set out at sunrise, but he could not see a star anywhere, so he sat down and waited for one to appear. He waited And he waited, and then he ate lunch. He waited some more, and after dinner, he waited some more. Finally, just before the sun was about to go away, he saw a star. The boy tried to jump and grab it, but he could not jump high enough. So he very carefully climbed to the top of a tall, tall tree. But the star was still way out of his reach. He thought he might lasso the star with the life preserver from his father's boat, but it was much too heavy for him to carry. If only he could fly up in the spaceship and just grab the star. But the only spaceship he owned was made of paper, and it didn't fly very well at all. Perhaps he could get a seagull to help him fly up into the sky to reach the star. But the only seagull he could find didn't want to help. Does anybody have any ideas about how he could catch his star? When I'm reading books, I like to think about what might happen next. The boy worried he would never catch a star. Just then he noticed something floating in the water. It was the prettiest star he had ever seen. Just a baby star. It must have fallen from the sky. Does everybody see what he's looking at down here? He tried to fish it out with his hands. But when the boy reached out to touch the star, it just rippled through his fingers. Now, the boy was sad, but in his heart, the wish just wouldn't give up. Slowly, he began walking home. And that's when he saw it, washed up on the bright golden sand. Does everybody see what he found? The boy had caught a star of his very own. Boys and girls, this little boy caught a starfish from the ocean. But as you can tell in the story, he was looking at a reflection of a star in the water, just like we were looking at shadows. And if you can see, my shadow is almost gone because the sun is moving directions in the sky, and now it's moving to a different place. Boys and girls, if you experiment or have any fun with shadows at home, I would love to hear about it. Until next time, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.